In the basic and advanced rule set, the penetration system often resulted in wingers penetrating against wingers and defense penetrating against defense, their opposing players. In real hockey, this probably wouldn't happen. A winger would probably get beyond the winger and try to be penetrating against the opposition's defense on his side. So a right wing would probably try to be penetrating against a left defense, and the opposite holds true for the other team, where a left winger would probably be their penetrating against a right defenseman. So there is an alternate penetration rule that states exactly that. So when it calls for in the game here, like an inside shot for a right winger and intimidation for the opposition. So instead of being the opponent right across the table, he would be trying to penetrate against the left wing. And it would be the same for the right winger trying to penetrate against their opposition. It would be the right wing against the opposition's left defense. So it would be something like that, and for vice versa for both teams. There are still cases though where on the card it would give you specifics, like loose puck inside shot for center, and then the intimidation for a right defense. So just in the normal penetration and the normal intimidation, you could use the alternate rule where a defense would be opposing a winger instead of a defense on a defense. When you purchase hockey seasons from Strat, there are a few options. From 2000 to current day, you can buy the full season set where you have 18 players carded for each team in the league, so every team is represented. You can buy that full set with the additional players, so that you have enough to play 4 lines plus, so it comes in a separate package for the additional players. Or you can buy the 6-team recreation sets, which gives you the 18 cards per team, just like the others, just like the modern day sets. But it also gives you a digital file where you can print the remaining teams that aren't carded on the computer and cut them out for yourself. It is a doc file. Every one is a doc file, so you need something that can read those. I print mine off on 110-pound cardstock I got from Staples, and I'll show you how that works. When you order a 6-team recreation from Strat, along with that, once your purchase is made, you get a download file that you can download straight from the Strat site. It comes as a zip file. You can open up the zip file to find all the teams that are not carded, so you can print your own. It's there in doc format, and it also has all the extra files or all the extra players, additional players for the carded team. So it's enough that it have 4 lines apiece. I've used 100-pound cardstock that I've got from Staples. It costs about $20 a pack here in Canada, and I can print my own out on just any kind of printer you want. And of course they don't have a backing like the Strat cards have, but still, it doesn't matter. You can print off every single last team in that league, so you can have a full season replay. Strat sends along a roster sheet with every full and recreated season you purchase. You can also download a copy from their website. On the roster sheet, beside the forward's name, is a number, which represents the line he would normally play on. The sheet also lists players that you will find in your additional player pack that you can purchase, as well as some miscellaneous rules that may not be in the Strat manual. On the roster sheets, like what I said before, the line number for each player is suggested beside their name on this roster sheet. When you see a 4, they suggest at Strat that those players could be used as substitutes only, or on the 4th line only if they have a 4th line. So you notice here there's enough for complete 4 lines here, so they have 2 number 4s here that would be substitutes again, or if you had the additional players, you can use them on the 4th line. For those people who have purchased the additional player cards and have enough players now to ice 4 lines on their team instead of the 3, the following adjustments can be made for the timing of the period. As before, when you had 3 lines, you would count off 10 cards, put a forward line change card, count 5 cards, put a defensive line change, count 5 and put the other forward line change. You would make this adjustment. You first count off 8 advanced action cards, put a forward change, then count 7 advanced action cards and put a defensive line change. Now at this point in time you'd also change your forward line. So I don't have a card made up for this because I only play with 3 lines, but you can make your own card. The game does not come with one, so you'd have to make your own card, or just remind yourself when a defensive line change comes up, the forward change comes. Then next, count off 8 more cards, add a forward line change, and then the final left over would be the 7 cards. And there you go, you would have still the 30 cards in play and enough for 4 lines. Strat sends along a bunch of scorecards, generic scorecards, which are fine to use. You have a place to put your visitors' goals and shots on goal. You can list out your players both on the same sheet, your goaltenders. I find it adequate, but I made my own in Excel. This is from a game I have currently going in my own little league between Buffalo and Sabres and Montreal Canadiens. Here it allows me to list all the players, their positions, the lines I would normally have them on, their assist ratings. For this is a spelling mistake, sorry. Should be like this one, assist rating. I keep shots on goal, goals, assists, penalties in minutes, power play and shorthanded goals, and for the goaltenders, shots and saves. It's adequate for what I need. I don't collect a lot of stats, and I can print these off quite readily and fast on Excel. I've made up all the teams pre-hand, so I just have to print them out. This is the game I am hoping to video between the Boston Bruins of 1946 and the Detroit Red Wings of 1946. It has a line, the Kraut line, Milt Schmidt, Woody Dumartin, Bobby Bauer, that come from the city I was born and grew up in. My score sheets, not only do I have the stats on the first side, but I've created a second side to it, just a scoring summary where I can put from each team the time of goals. It's not necessary, but I think it's fun. It's in the super advanced rules, where I've just basically copied the time chart, and one of the rules, I'm going to bring this up, number of cards that have been played, and then you roll 2 d20s, and that will tell you the time in which a penalty or a goal was scored. I'll show that next. In the advanced rules on the Strat-O-Matic Hockey Supplementary Play Chart, which is mostly for the super advanced, they have an advanced timing chart, or a super advanced timing chart here, that would help you decide when a goal was scored or a penalty was taken. And how you do this is you would count up the number of cards that you have used or have been in play, and add to that 2 rolls of the d20. So let's take, for instance, 16 cards were now used. So the time is now 10 minutes, and then we'll take the d20, roll it twice, and add on whatever we get. So that's 10:08 and 10:27. So the goal would have been scored at 10:27, and that super advanced timing chart is as simple as that. I store my Strat cards in manila envelopes, number 6 coin envelopes, which I purchase from Staples. You can buy a whole box. This cost me about $22 Canadian. You get 250. It's plenty. I store all my baseball, football, and Strat hockey cards in them. They are big enough to hold the additional players for the most part. A little harder on the baseball because you get a little bit more players on the baseball team. For example, here's my Boston Red Sox of 2004 and my Chicago Cubs of 2016, which I'm preparing to do a little bit of a video on those two. They're a little tighter to get those baseball cards in there, a little bit more. But for the hockey team and my football Strat cards, there's plenty and ample space, even for extra players. So after putting them in the number 6 coin envelopes, I store my cards in plastic bins. Bought this from Solutions. I'm not sure if they're everywhere, but they're here in Ontario. They fit a whole season with additional players quite nicely. This one actually, I've printed labels out for. It has quite a few different seasons in it. Most of these are 6-season recreations. The 2011 is a full season with extra players, so you can get quite a lot in there. My baseball teams, you can usually fit an entire season plus additional players in one box only. And of course the football seasons go in there quite nicely. We have 6-team recreation as well. I fit all my football into 2 bins. It keeps them nice, dry, well stocked, and with the labels on them here that I can find them quite easily. Well, that's it for this video. I'd like to thank Mark Castronova over at Strat-O-Matic on Facebook and YouTube for the gift card that I won last weekend that helped me purchase this hockey set and a football set and another baseball set. So until next time, thank you very much for watching.